Hey everyone, Ro here. Today we are ranking every Pirates of the Caribbean movie, all 5, from worst to best. So let's not waste any time and dive in straight to number 5, Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End. For me, this movie has all but completely abandoned its romping pirate adventure roots and is trying to be a large-scale epic, a la Lord of the Rings, with its own pirate lords to boot. Unfortunately, however, it just doesn't work for me. That was never the beauty of the Pirates of the Caribbean. You wasn't watching them for an epic. You was watching them for an adventure. It simply departed too much from what gave it its charm and appeal. Captain Jack Sparrow is now a full comedic parody of himself. Elizabeth Swann is a pirate veteran holding knives to people's throats. And the best element of the previous movie, Bill Nighy's Davy Jones, is relegated to standing in a bucket. I wish I was joking. The worst thing by far is the runtime. Clocking in at nigh on 3 hours long, this movie really drags. There are still bright moments and a nod to the Disney ride, but they're mostly lost beneath a movie trying to do too much, and that's lost the essence of what made the original so good. And as such, it rightly owns its place at the bottom of my rankings. On to number 4, Salazars Revenge, or Dead Men Tell No Tales as it's known pretty much everywhere else in the world. Now why it had the name change for the UK market I have no idea. And there's a lot I like about this movie. Unfortunately there's a lot I don't as well. It's got a lovely ominous intro, with some great hallmarks of old with the cameos. A young man's vow to save his father from the Flying Dutchman, really dragging you into this would-be pirate adventure. It goes without saying it does pull a bit of a Force Awakens in that it borrows heavily from its source material. But much like Force Awakens, it unfortunately doesn't quite pull it off as well. If only Salazar and his crew had been kept as a major threat lingering in the background some more. I really think this could have been a real classic. Instead, I'm really just left thinking more of what could have been. This film is so eager to get the adventure underway, the plot is just all spilled out to you quite literally within the first few minutes of the film, and as such it loses a great sense of anticipation. The second Salazar and his crew are brought into the beautiful Caribbean sunlight, they really lose any real sense of dread, and it doesn't work wonders for the CGI either. That said though, the premise of the adventure itself is actually a good one. And the chemistry between Depp and Rush as Sparrow and Barbossa still carries the film well. It's not quite the Captain Jack of old, and there's still some way over the top scenes, aka the bank heist, and I think that's all I have to say about that. But switch off your brain and you can still chill with the family on the sofa and come out the other side like you haven't completely wasted your time. Number 3 on Stranger Tides. Now this gets a lot of marks from me in adopting a more darker tone and returning Captain Jack to at least a semi-more competent pirate. Not everything he does here is blind luck or a complete accident. Yes, that's still here, but we get a Jack who can actually pull a plan off, and it's honestly a real pleasant surprise. Gone is the OTT premise of World's End, and instead is a tried and true pirate adventure, complete with mermaids, treasure hunts and Spanish galleons. It all feels a lot more right at home. Unfortunately here it does fall a little flat in places along the way. Personally, I didn't feel much chemistry between Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz, And as much as I love Ian McShane the actor, and as Blackbeard, it just felt like something was missing. There just wasn't quite that screen presence you want from your main villain. In a strange way, I think maybe he had too much screen time. It just wasn't quite a Barbossa or even a Davy Jones. Those critiques aside though, I really do believe that this one does more right than it does wrong, and that maybe it suffers more in the mainstream perception than it should for the missing Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley. Number 2. Dead Man's Chest. Now I'll be honest here, I'm surprised this one has ended up as number 2, as on watching it I really do feel a steep decline from Curse of the Black Pearl, and when compared to that it does pale in comparison, but as a franchise as a whole, it holds its place well. Captain Jack has begun to slide into more comic relief and less pirate, but there's still enough there to enjoy the adventure for the most part. And Orlando Bloom has evolved into a more competent protagonist in his own right. It's the premise of Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman, however, that really helps this film. And the character concept of Davy Jones is nothing short of astounding. Bill Nighy as Davy Jones is an absolute scene stealer, and he really deserves huge recognition for his performance. If only this film had been written as a standalone adventure rather than the bloated epic it would become at World's End. The plot of The Crew of the Damned and Turner's vow to save his father are good true adventures, and it benefits well with the return of the original cast. Unfortunately, not all the character developments they try work out, and maybe that's because simply they try too much, leaving some characters such as Elizabeth almost completely unrecognisable from the ones we left. However, for nothing more than a popcorn movie, this one is an enjoyable enough watch. However, by far our number 1, The Curse of the Black Pearl. The film that spawned the franchise, and rightly so. This is a great adventure movie. Captain Jack Sparrow is actually a dangerous pirate who can outsmart the Royal Navy. Not by luck, not by coincidence, but by his actual wits. A premise of a movie not spilled out within seconds at the start, with enough confidence in itself to let it unravel naturally as the adventure continues to progress, and one with a villain kept mysterious until the film's truly ready for the introduction. And what an introduction it is. This is prime Captain Barbossa. The Curse of the Black Pearl is by far and away the best Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It has all the right mixture of adventure, danger, comedy and intrigue to just make it a fascinating tale. As I said in my review, yes, it is half an hour or too long and does as a result drag a little in the middle, but the cast and characters here are all strong and unique enough to keep you engaged. If the rumoured 2 pirate films in development need any inspiration, I really hope they're looking only towards Curse of the Black Pearl. However, that about sums up my rankings for the Pirates of the Caribbean. As always guys, what do you think? Do you agree with my rankings, or perhaps do you have a different order? As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing and dropping a like to help the channel grow. But with that said, I am off and I'll see you all again real soon.